This video could perhaps be the most important video for you to watch to understand how to conquer your fears. ऐसा जबरदस्त खतरनाक emotion है fear, and that's why we don't take those actions. We are sitting in the comfort zone, and that's why we don't get the results. And this is based on the 6 basic fears of Napoleon Hill's classic bestseller Think and Grow Rich, the final chapter, in which he explains what are the 6 basic fears. It's not just about understanding the 6 basic fears, but more about understanding your behavior, your patterns, that what is the symptom in my behavior, and that is the real reason of me having the particular fear. Understand this. If you know the enemy, 50% of the battle is won. If you know that that's the enemy, then it's done. Most of the time we are ignorant, we have a blind spot, and we don't even know that we don't know. It's like a don't know zone. So if you think you don't have these fears, try to analyze every fear based on the symptoms, your behavioral patterns, and if you're behaving in a particular manner, that means you definitely have this particular fear. And then you can have a context of how to tackle the particular fear. That's a different particular story. But first understand whether you have this particular fear or not. Because if you do not have the basic understanding, if you're living in some dreamy world, oh, I don't have the particular fear, but actually you're living in a particular fear, you will never be able to resolve this particular concern of having your fear coming out. So let's understand the 6 basic fears, and we'll go in detail what are the different symptoms which you need to understand in your behavior for every fear. So I would highly recommend you have a notepad, pen, paper handy to take notes, because this could be a really powerful video for you. And if you haven't still subscribed to our channel, then subscribe right now. Press the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of the new videos which will be coming for you to understand this entire science of success. So the 6 basic fears are: the first one is fear of losing money. The second fear is the fear of criticism. The third fear is the fear of loss of love. The fourth fear is the fear of ill health. The fifth fear is the fear of old age. And the sixth one is the fear of death. Now let's first focus on the first basic fear. Perhaps the most important fear is the fear of losing money, or the fear of poverty. This fear, almost every one of us has gone through this particular fear at least once in a lifetime for sure. Every one of us. I mean, पैसा खोने का डर और पैसा नहीं होगा तो क्या होगा? And there are different symptoms associated with our behavior which can really see that yes, I've got the particular fear. And the extent of this particular fear may be different. But definitely if you have a pattern of your behavior, and that behavior is actually a proof that you have got the particular fear. So let's understand what are the real symptoms, some common symptoms, and see your pattern, see your behavior, and analyze your own behavior and see, yes, I've definitely got this behavioral pattern. That means I've got the cause of having the particular fear. So first let's focus on the effects, and then we'll focus on the cause. What are the common symptoms of you having the fear of losing money? The first one is indifference. Indifference is also one of the behavioral patterns which is the real reason to have the fear. Let's say we see people like this. Why to make those big goals, man? I don't want to make a big goal. हाँ, क्या लेके आए थे? क्या लेके जाएंगे? नहीं रखना बड़ा goal. Well, that's indifference in their attitude. Perhaps they have this particular fear that if they take some action outside their comfort zone, they're going to have been losing a lot of money for sure. So they have this context of indifference. And how you would change this particular context is that you start to develop a meaning behind the particular goal. But at this moment, understand this. If you're finding somebody around you that, okay, money is not the most important thing in life, money can't buy happiness, stay away from these people. These people are actually having a lot of fear about losing money, and that's going to come in like contagious for you. So that's the first symptom of you having the fear of losing money. The second one is indecision. People who don't take decisions in life, they are really having this particular fear of losing money. Let's say if to take that job or not to take the job, to take that new order or not to take that particular potential client, to buy that particular property, to take that particular trade. There is so many indecisiveness, so much of indecisiveness. And the more the indecisiveness, the bigger the fear which you have got. So if you are having that indecision, or if you are seeing somebody who is indecisive, you can gauge, oh, this person is having the particular fear of loss or the fear of losing money. The third most important symptom is some doubt. If you have a doubter around you, understand this person is definitely having the fear of losing money. Look at your own self. When you keep on doubting, when you keep on looking at your decisions which are very indecisive, you definitely have this particular fear of losing money. Now, connected to this particular indecision and doubt, we have got the fourth symptom, which is worry. Yeah, this is all a combination of fear, doubt, worry. And when you keep on worrying about things, so kya hoga, kaise hoga, what will happen to my investments? You keep on checking your investments portfolio every single hour, whether market is going up or down, how is the international market performing? Well, that is a sign of worry and anxiety. And if you have got that worry and anxiety, that's a cause of your fear. That's the symptom which you've got. That this is my symptom. I've got this particular symptom of worry. Well, you definitely have this fear of losing money. Now, how to tackle that? That's a different context over here. But let's start focusing first only on the symptoms over here. The fifth one, the fifth symptom for you to have to understand your own behavior is overcaution. Let's see a person who is very overcautious. So let me try once again. Let me check once again. Let me verify once again. Let me check my investments once again. You keep on procrastinating things. That is where you start to have this particular fear of losing money. So overcaution combined with procrastination, when you keep on delaying things, अरे आज नहीं कल करेंगे, कल नहीं परसों करेंगे, अरे करेंगे. So overcaution is also connected with procrastination. So if you look at the 6 symptoms, these 6 symptoms you need to check in your behavior pattern. And if you have the 6 symptoms, you definitely are having the fear of losing money. You definitely are having the fear of loss of money or loss of poverty. So let's recap this particular 6 fears. First one is indifference. The second is indecision. The third is doubt. The fourth is worry. The fifth is overcaution. And the sixth one is procrastination. Now, how to tackle these particular fears, how to conquer your fears, there's a separate video on our YouTube channel where I've explained to you how to develop that particular faith to overpower this entire fear, and that's where you can really become a fast and a quick decision maker, overcome your worries and start to get the results. Let's look at the second fear, which is the fear of ill health, बीमार होने का डर. Now, to really check whether you have this particular fear or not, look at the symptoms of this particular fear. And the first symptom is auto-suggestion. Auto-suggestion is self-suggestion. That means if you look at a particular person and says, and if this person always keeps on saying that, oh, I'm going to fall sick. Oh, it's going to be, the seasons are changing. Oh, I'm going to fall sick. And this particular food doesn't suit me. I'm going to fall sick. And if you see a person keeps on repeating this, that is the symptom that this particular person has got a fear of ill health. So that's the first symptom. The second symptom for fear of ill health is hypochondria. Now, what is hypochondria? Hypochondria is imaginary illness. That means the illness is not there, but you really start to imagine things that because maybe some food habits or because of maybe you going out in the sunshine or you going out in the rains, that's where you're going to get this particular illness. It's all imaginary. In fact, most people fall sick because of this particular seasons changing, and they've got that interval, oh, I'm going to fall sick, I'm going to catch a cold by the month of November. Well, that's imaginary illness. And if you have this particular symptom, you have got the fear of ill health. The third one, susceptibility. Susceptibility to negative influences is also a symptom for you to have this particular fear of ill health. So let's say you are somewhere maybe outside in we're meeting different people, and the first person tries to play with you on your ill health, and he says, oh, today you're not looking up to the mark. आज कुछ ठीक नहीं लग रहे हो आप. Maybe कुछ problem है क्या? कुछ सही नहीं है क्या? You're not feeling well. And you're saying, no, I'm perfectly fine. And then you meet somebody else, maybe the second or third person also repeats the same thing. Are you okay today? I mean, is everything fine? I mean, you don't look the way the best you are in. And you say, no, I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with me. And he repeats after fourth and the fifth day also. And then now you start to imagine, hey, is something really wrong with me? Maybe you go out in the mirror, in the washroom, you look in the mirror and say, oh, is it something's wrong with me? Well, that is where what happens when somebody is hexing you and you are getting susceptible to the negative influences. That's also a fear of ill health coming in over here. That's a symptom of this. So beware of people using this method of hexing. You got to believe in yourself that yes, my health, I know the best. So that's one of the symptoms of you to have the fear of ill health. What's the next one? Intemperance. Intemperance in different habits. I've seen people who say, oh, I have not gone to the doctor. मैं doctor के पास गया ही नहीं हूँ. मैं जाता ही नहीं डॉक्टर के पास. क्यों? अरे कभी भी कुछ बीमारी होती है, पेट दुखता है, सर दुखता है, I've got a headache or maybe a stomach ache, or maybe I just sit at home or I have orange light, orange drink, and then I have it and I'm chilled out, and that's why I don't have any kind of illness at all. Or maybe they pop pills, maybe some painkillers, etc. And that's where they have intemperance in their habits. Understand this. If you are catching a flu, or maybe you need to have some kind of a viral infection, ho gaya hai, go to the doctor and get it resolved. Why you really want to have this intemperance in habits and say, I've never gone to the doctor since last 30 years? Well, that's the fear of ill health which you have got. So beware of this. And the final one is the habit of reading about illness or the habit of Googling illness. Have you seen people, let's say, in a maybe कोई family में किसी कोई बीमार हो गया है और कोई हॉस्पिटल में कोई समझो किसी का ऑपरेशन चल रहा है, बड़ा ऑपरेशन है, maybe it's a bypass surgery etc. and you all are waiting and the operation is going on in the operation theater, OT के बाहर बैठे आप, and people are on Google, on YouTube and checking out what is the graft and how is the graft happening, how is the bypass happening, etc. etc. So you're reading about illnesses or Googling illnesses. That is the sign of you having the fear of ill health. Maybe you've got some kind of a mole, or maybe you're feeling something indifferent and you start to Google about illness. That's where you have the fear of illness. So be aware of what's happening, but consult a doctor. Do not try all this stuff because that's a symptom of you having the fear of ill health. So that's the second fear which you need to tackle. I hope you're taking some notes because these are very powerful symptoms, your behavior, from which you can really start to remove this particular illnesses which you have got, remove the particular fears which you have got for this particular basic fears which you have got over here. The third fear is the fear of loss of love. Loss of love of near and dear ones, of near and dear beloved ones, maybe your spouse, your father, your mother. So that's where you have the fear. I don't want to lose my loved ones. And what is the symptom for this? I'm going to give you a context of loved ones from the context of your spouse, from the love of your life. The first symptom is jealousy. Jealousy is the symptom in your behavior, which is actually having a reason that you have got this fear of loss of love. How? Kuch hota hai. Love triangles. Well, there's jealousy. There's envy. Oh, I don't want to lose my love of my life. Devdas log ban jate hai. And that's where you have this particular fear of loss of love also. The second symptom is gambling. Gambling in terms of really being a high risk taker. Not like really sitting in a gambling den and gambling, but here the meaning is, the context is, you are becoming a big risk taker. And you are taking those risks, that unwanted risks, that high stake risks, because you feel somewhere deep down inside that if you don't provide the money to your beloved ones, if you do not achieve the grand success, maybe you lose them. Maybe you lose their love. That's where you see members or people who have this particular kind of a big stakes, and they will bet everything because they feel that if I don't give a diamond necklace to my better half, if I don't provide that foreign holiday trips, if I don't fulfill their wishes, I will lose them. That's where they gamble because they have the fear of loss of love. Remove this particular fear because it's a very, very deadly fear, and that's how you can really start to have harmony and bonding. Remove these particular symptoms. So that's the third fear which you need to tackle on, which is the fear of loss of love. One more important fear, which is the fear of criticism. इसको कैसे छोड़ सकते हैं हम? ये तो बहुत जबरदस्त fear है. लोग क्या कहेंगे? सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग? अरे लोगों का तो काम है कहना. But that's the fear of criticism. Now, what are the symptoms of you to look at in your behavior to understand whether you have got this particular fear of criticism? Let's look at that. The first one is self-consciousness. Well, if you feel that you're completely self-conscious, how am I looking, what's my life right now, how's my jacket like, and how is my facial expression like, and if I'm really focusing on my self-consciousness, that is where I've got the fear of criticism. And that's where sometimes people have faceless YouTube channels. Sometimes people prefer to have podcasts because they have got this fear of criticism, of being very self-conscious in front of the camera. So that's the first symptom which you need to understand, for you to understand, to have this particular fear of criticism conquered. The second symptom is lack of poise. I mean, really, if you look at a person who is completely fidgety, you look at youngsters sometimes, they're messing around with their hair, girls going like this, the guys looking at their shirts and t-shirts going like this, etc. Well, that is where they don't have the poise, the calmness, the balance, the equanimity. That's a signal of you having the fear of criticism. One. The third symptom is Personality weakness. Yes. Oh, I'm bald, I'm short, I'm tall, I'm dark. And this is so ingrained in us in the subconscious mind that most people go through their entire life with this particular fear of criticism. The fourth one is inferiority complex. Oh, I'm not a graduate. I can't speak English properly. Oh, he's a double graduate. Oh, his English is very fluent. That's the inferiority complex which people live their life, and that starts to come in as the fear of criticism. The next one, extravagance. Extravagance in their spending habits. I mean, this is very common. I mean, look at, let's say a big joint family is there. There are three brothers. Two brothers have done lavish weddings of their daughter. Now it's the turn of the third brother who is not that good in terms of finances. But because what the world is going to say, that's where he spends his entire life savings, he borrows money, and that's where extravagance kills because of the fear of criticism. Let's say, oh, uska phone mere se kaise bada? So I want to buy the new iPhone Pro, etc., etc., etc. So that is where you really start to develop that extravagance, and it is coming because you have the fear of criticism. Do not fall in this particular trap. Be who you are, and that's how you can really conquer this particular fear of criticism. The next symptom is lack of initiative. A person who is having the fear of criticism is never going to take the initiative. चलो मैं करता हूँ आगे आके. No, कभी नहीं करेंगे वो. बस पीछे बैठेंगे. आप करो ना. आप जाओ. पहले आप. पहले आप. पहले आप. Well, that is where they have the particular fear of criticism. They never take initiatives. And the final symptom is the lack of ambition. अरे यार इतना बड़ा गोल कर दिया, इतना बड़ा गोल रख दिया, लोग क्या कहेंगे? अरे that's where they kill their ambition because of what the world is going to say. Do not fall in this particular trap. These are the different symptoms which you really need to understand yourself, and that's where you really start to go to the next stage by conquering these particular symptoms, changing those particular symptoms, and that's where you really move and come out of this particular fear of criticism. One more fear which is there is, the next one is the fear of old age, बुढ़ापा. अभी तो मैं बूढ़ा हो चुका हूँ, अभी मेरी उम्र हो चुकी है, अभी मेरे से नहीं होता. Lack of enthusiasm is one of the symptoms of having the fear of old age. Some people just lose out on their enthusiasm because they just have that number. But understand this, age is just a number. And that's where you need to understand this fact that whatever be your age, do not be lacking on your enthusiasm. Some people just say, अरे नहीं मेरे बेटे इतने बड़े हो गए हैं, now I just can't do this. That's where lack of enthusiasm starts to come in. That's the fear of old age which you have got. What's the one more symptom of this fear of old age is? Inappropriate dress and action. Yeah. You know, sometimes people have this fear of not looking young. So they are dressing up like not suiting to the needs and the requirements of the situation. Sometimes they color their hair, etc. किसके साथ खेल रहे हो आप? I mean, किसको cheat कर रहे हो? अपने आप को cheat कर रहे हो कि किसी दुनिया को cheat कर रहे हो? क्या किसको cheat कर रहे हो आप? By having coloring your hair. Be natural, be normal, because age is where you need to respect that particular thing. You need to wear the crown of wisdom that this is my age, and be appropriate to the situation, to the dressing sense, what suits your age. And once you do this, you will conquer this particular fear of old age. Well, I've got two boys. The elder one is 21, the younger one is 18. And I never thought of having an age factor where I have the fear of old age, where I'm getting older. No, not at all. In fact, as you progress forward, as you become mature, you have this entire wisdom, the experience, and you can really ripen your entire career using your past experience and learnings and conquer this particular fear of old age. And the final fear which you need to conquer is the fear of death. मरना नहीं है मुझे मरने से डर लगता है. So what are the symptoms for this particular fear? The habit of thinking about dying. See, if you find a person who is always thinking of dying, अरे भगवान अभी क्या होगा मुझे, कैसे होगा मेरी, अभी उम्र हो गई मेरी, कैसे होगा? And a person keeps on thinking about dying, and that's why it's a victim mode. You know that this particular person has got the fear of death also. And also, this particular fear is also connected to your fear of poverty. कि पैसे नहीं देंगे, extreme poverty will die, and also fear of ill health. उसके साथ में भी fear of death connected है. For example, COVID happened, and 14 days quarantine रहो, otherwise people were dying, and that was a tragedy. So fear of ill health is also connected to fear of death, and so that's where you need to understand this. It's all interconnected over here. These 6 fears are there, In our programs, we go deeper in detail how to tackle your fears. We'll go through exercises, and that's how you really start to remove these particular fears. We also tackle 24 other fears which are not covered over here because the context of time is not there. But if you really want to understand how to move forward, then please subscribe to our channel, because I'll be covering every concept of Think and Grow Rich in detail, the principles of success, the laws of success. You don't need to miss out. You don't have to miss out on any of the videos. So subscribe to our channel, like this particular video, share this particular video if you found some value in this, and promise me that I'm going to work on these symptoms. I'm going to check my particular behavioral patterns, and that's where I'll be able to understand my fears. And only when you start to understand your fears, you'll be able to conquer your fears and move forward to the next stage. I'm Sidharth Shah. I'm the CEO of Think and Grow Rich Academy. We represent the Napoleon Hill Foundation in India. Let's get ready to think and grow rich. Thank you so much.